mental health professionals can't be there all the time. So we need people in the community to kind of, if they see something, say something. I have cerebral palsy. I was born with it. I was born like 3 months premature, had complications, and a lot of people come up to me and they'll say, I don't know how you do it every day. The thing that I want to tell people who say that to me is, when you have a disability, yes, there will be days where you're like, oh, my body's not cooperating. This is taking 10 times longer than it would a quote-unquote normal person. You'll have those days where you're just really frustrated. But then having a disability also can give you great experiences that you wouldn't have otherwise. For example, I always volunteer with the Elks. I do adaptive rowing and brigantine. I used to do adaptive horseback riding before I aged out. I'm involved in the wellness center, which I probably wouldn't have looked at social work as my field, because part of the thing that drew me to it was part of the principles of social work is you accept everyone, you find the best in everyone, you look at the strengths, the weaknesses, and you help the person find it in themselves to work with you to fix the problem. So me, as a disabled person, said, wow, maybe going into social work means that I won't have all the stigma of, people thinking, oh, she won't be able to do this, she uses a wheelchair. I had some problems in the past with anxiety, and for the longest time, first it was test anxiety, then it was self-esteem, then it was worrying about the future. It took me a long time to actually get help for a lot of my issues. And then once I did, it was like I didn't feel so alone anymore. There was when talking about mental illness, there's so much silence that goes on because people think, oh, I shouldn't mention it because then people will think I'm weak, people will think I'm crazy. But once you mention it, it's for a lot of people, not for everyone obviously, but for a lot of people, myself included, it's like this big weight lifted off your shoulders just to say the words, I'm depressed or, what have you. I realized that Active Minds, the club on campus that deals with reducing stigma for mental illness, does programs on all sorts of things. Like they had the suicide prevention panel, and I was like, wow, I know so many people who are not able to talk about this, and there's going to be a panel where people talk about it freely, and I just found that really amazing and really, it kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. When I got to Stockton, I liked the fact that there were just so many different certifications and programs for free available to students. Like, for example, the mental health first aid, which is awesome because they offer it a couple times each semester on campus. But it's great because it basically tells you how to handle when a person says, I'm thinking of taking my own life, or I'm thinking of killing myself. It helps you to know what to do in those situations. It just brings it back to the fact that Stockton likes everyone to be well-rounded and know a little bit about everything, because, you never know what kinds of situations you'll come up in life, and even if you have no other background in mental health or psychology, if you take a seminar or training and remember some of the things and you try to implement it, that is great. That because the sooner a person gets help, the easier it's going to be to work through those issues.